What if I were to tell you that out there, beyond the veil of human habitation, there is something lurking between the stars? Would you want to know more? What if I were to tell you that not only is there rumours of movements in the blackest of black, that these rumours have been circling amongst the court of intrigue for years? Would you still want to know more? In this episode, I will be exploring a series of events that have a definitive connection and that they may be telling us that there is something out there, not Thargoid, nor human, that defies comprehension, inviting fear, yet drawing you in like a moth to the flame. First of all, in order to better understand this story, you must lay out all of the elements in front of you in order to potentially provide the bigger picture. There are a series of Galnet articles and in-game places that you can visit that have a definitive connection to one another. This is the tales of those such places and those such events. Caleb Wycherley, otherwise known as the Witch or Salvation, was the person responsible for the deployment of the Proteus wave, a device that was used at HIP 22460 against the Thargoids. Caleb, better known as Salvation, was first encountered during the events of the Adamastor and the Hesperus, a series of ships that went missing 100 years prior to our first contact with the Thargoids. This contact rewrote history and is now regarded as the first actual contact with the Thargoid race. The first ship found of the two, the Adamastor, was found in the Coalsack Nebula, left adrift without its crew. The Hesperus, found shortly after its sister ship, was located by a dredger clan. During these events, a character who went by the name of Salvation revealed himself, claiming to have information that would lead to the logs of the Hesperus, revealing the fate of its crew. Salvation became vital to the Thargoid war effort, claiming that he knew a way to end the war, and sequestered members of the Pilots Federation for the purpose of making a device that would later be known as the Proteus wave. These events led to the deployment of that device, the Proteus wave, which backfired spectacularly, ending in the eradication of most of humanity's forces in the HIP 22460 system. During these events, it was revealed that the man we knew as Salvation was in fact Caleb Wycherley, a lead scientist who was responsible for the deployment of the mycoid virus over 200 years prior. In the wake of Salvation's apparent defeat, as search and rescue efforts retrieved the corpse of Salvation, it was revealed that Salvation's consciousness could have been transferred to a device that he was working on during his many years in the shadows in between the two Thargoid wars. This device was known as the Nemesis Protocol. During the climax of the HIP 22460 operation against the Thargoids, an individual came forward, known as Xiao Jin-A, with information on the individual known as Salvation and his other projects. One such project that I would like to discuss at this time was Project Seraph. Xiao Jin-A was a private journalist who had went missing prior to these events. She claims that she was abducted on behalf of scientists working for Salvation, known at the time as Caleb Wycherley, at the secretive Oaken facility, who were researching Thargoid technology and its possible subversion, so that human pilots could understand and use Thargoid technology. This endeavour was known as Project Seraph. She claimed that the scientists had used human subjects in their experiments and that many individuals had perished during unsuccessful attempts to merge their bodies with a Thargoid vessel. The people who were used as test subjects were taken against their will, usually people who had been critical of authorities in federal or imperial space. Xiao Jin-A was regarded by those scientists as subject D2, and these individuals used her during one of the first breakthroughs of Project Seraph. She states that this procedure was successful and she was able to merge her body and mind into a Thargoid vessel. One of the scientists involved with the project had become disillusioned with Project Seraph after witnessing the murder of many people during its development. This scientist was known as Dr. Edmund Pierce. Sojin A claims that Dr. Pierce helped her escape the facility and that she fled Oaken Point in a supply ship with a Commander Hyford piloting that ship, and they fled the system. Hyford and Pierce then placed Sojin A in an escape pod and ejected it to the surface of a nearby planet. Dr. Pierce had stashed a ship on this world as part of the Doctor's escape plan, and Sojin A used this vessel to escape back into the core systems using the series of beacons that were placed by the Doctor. During her flight back into the core systems, Sojin A claims that she experienced unsettling dreams of her time at Oaken Point, when she was merged with the Thargoid vessel. At the last beacon, Dr. Pierce had deposited the permit lock for HIP 22460 and left a message urging Sojin A to release this permit lock to the press or to the local authorities. Upon return to the core systems, Sojin A contacted the head of research for Aegis, an organisation which was not active at the time, and Professor Tesrau was directed to the DG Cannon Venatoricum system. A subsequent investigation of that area revealed an abandoned Indra outpost which contained evidence tying Salvation to Azimuth Biochemicals, the company who were responsible for the events on the Adamastor and the Hesperus. This shed light on Salvation, displaying that he was not who he was claiming to be. His checkered past was now becoming evident. Sometime later, during a conference aimed at reforming Aegis, So barged her way onto the stage. She revealed her name to those at the conference, exposing the implants on her body for the crowd to see that were forcibly implanted at Oaken Point. She displayed a marking on her forearm, a cattle brand if you will, labelling her Subject B2. Following these events, Aegis took her into protection, where she began working on Thargoid communications research. She did critical work on Thargoid communications during the Second War, owing in some perverse way to her experiences with Thargoid technology at Oaken Point. During the Battle of HIP 22460, a battle that CO witnessed with her own eyes, she discovered that the Thargoid roar that was heard when the Proteus wave had failed was in fact a multi-frequency message, calling the Thargoid Titans into human space. She also revealed information on a device that Salvation had been working on, for which she labelled the Nemesis Protocol. The Nemesis Protocol is a device that would allow its user to transfer their consciousness into machine code, leaving their own body and becoming one with this device. Although her claims are disputed by Azimuth Biochemicals and those who support that organisation, it is stated by Shio that Salvation had successfully used this device on board his flagship Bright Sentinel when he deployed the Proteus wave, allowing him to escape death and to escape into the black. It is not known how this device escaped, whether it was taken on board a vessel or by some unknown means. Aegis, during this time, released the following statement in regards to the Nemesis Protocol.
First of all, yes, Caleb literally died when the Thargoids attacked the Bright Sentinel on HIP 22460, but I believe only physically. He was developing technology to automatically relocate his mind, an emergency protocol he named the Nemesis Failsafe. I know how implausible that sounds, but the files I recovered from an Azimuth Biotech archive prove his intentions. For several years, Salvation ran a private project to reverse engineer a Guardian artifact which could store consciousness. The design showed neural interactions as digital impulses and made reference to exactly retaining his identity and memories. Salvation had already extended his life to over 250 years and was obsessed with staying alive until he could wipe out the Thargoids. I'm convinced that he survived in some bodiless form and that Azimuth has known all along.
It also became apparent during this time that Sheol was being hunted by unknown assailants who were thwarted by members of the cult known as the Thargoid cult. Aidan Tanner, an independent specialist working for Aegis, made the following comment on these events.
I'll admit that the designs Sheol found seemed authentic and incredibly advanced, but the files contained no concrete proof that the Nemesis failsafe was constructed, or if it could actually work. I'm more concerned that she was being hunted by unknown parties who would likely have succeeded if not for the Thargoid cult's intervention. Perhaps it needs to be restated that actively seeking to hinder Aegis or its valued personnel is a crime against all three superpowers.
Asimov rebuffed this information, claiming that the Nemesis Protocol was in fact a device called Utopia's SIM archive, and that the Nemesis Protocol was not based on Guardian technology. Although it has never been verified that the Nemesis Protocol was made by reverse engineering Guardian technology, the way that this device works seems to fall in line with Guardian technological footprints and the way that their technology works. During the Guardian race's twilight era, information that was revealed by the Guardian specialist Rontar suggests that the Guardians had a capability to transfer their consciousnesses into their machines through implants similar to those that were surgically placed in Sheol's head by Salvation and his team at Oaken Point. During the era of the Guardians, millions of years ago, efforts were made to digitize their own race. As the Guardians spread out into the stars, advancements were made in Guardian technology in order to cater to their new interstellar status. Advancements in Guardian computer technology were made, and efforts into networking solutions bore fruit, culminating in what they labelled as the Monolith Network. This technology allowed their race to insert implants into their brains, for them to connect to a network of like-minded individuals who also had these implants. This led to a golden age in information gathering and culminated in the invention of true sapient constructs, artificial intelligence if you will. This AI would moderate the Monolith Network, contributing to its capabilities, and its use spread throughout the Guardian race. There were those of that race, however, that would oppose this technology, culminating in the Great Schism and the Guardian race's extinction at the hands of that device that they created to govern the Monolith Network, the Guardian Construct. After the dust had settled, all that remained of the Guardians were footprints of their presence within the sands of space and time, trinkets of technology, tomb worlds, and the Guardian AI itself. To this day, it is not known what happened to this device, this artificial consciousness. There have been many rumoured sightings of unexplained things out in the cosmos, with pilots seeing lights in a distant part of the Milky Way, lights that should not be there. Although many of these claims can be discredited in many different ways, with some encounters of a Thargoid encounter or others discredited as hoaxes, some of these encounters have to this day remained unexplained. Communication Array Delta 69 was an otherwise unremarkable facility in a location that is linked below. Following the discovery of a series of listening posts that led to this location, it was revealed that the staff had encountered something which was not in line with anything that humanity had encountered before. The staff of this facility had found the body of an unknown individual who was not listed as being part of the staff of the facility. The staff members had remarked that this corpse had simply appeared out of nowhere and was left without a mark on their body, nor any signs of radiological or toxicological damage. Further research by the staff into the dead person revealed that it had been recorded on official records that this pilot had gone missing some time ago. in those records that his vessel had encountered some kind of anomaly and had simply vanished. Shortly after the staff found his body, they received a transmission with a digital package attached. This was not from any known source, not regarded as human, and it being highly encoded. Tracing its source, the team identified the transmission was emanating 10 kilometers from the facility at a remote part of the planet. Upon investigation, the facility's staff encountered some kind of anomaly that was not typical with anything that had been encountered before. Using a skimmer with scientific equipment installed, they revealed that this anomaly appeared to be creating intense gravitational fields locally, measuring around 0.1 G. Shortly after the staff encountered this anomaly, the corpse that they had found mysteriously began to emit some kind of signal, the signal growing stronger and stronger, and the anomaly that they had encountered moving closer to the communications array. On screen is that log, for which you can encounter yourself by flying to the coordinates on screen or in the description below. Jasmina Halsey, the ex-president of the federal government, was at the time of her presidency a bellicose, hawk-like and otherwise authoritarian leader. During her time in office, she obtained the rather dubious honour of being the most unpopular federal president of all time. She oversaw policies which included banning the production and sale of the narcotic onion head, enacting multiple tax hikes, and conducting aggressive military campaigns against dissident federal frontier systems. Further to this, she planned to cut military budgets by record amounts. Efforts to reverse her negative popularity resulting in Jasmina Halsey touring federal worlds using the federal office's official mode of transportation, Starship One. During this tour, in an act of sabotage, disgruntled with her plans to cut military spending, placed an explosive device on Starship One and blew the vessel up. Search and rescue efforts failed to locate her, dead or alive, and she was presumed to have perished in the explosion. Several months later, as the dust had settled from her assassination with a new president sworn in, the escape pod of the now ex-president was found. She was found intact and alive. During Jasmina's debrief on these events, she mentioned that she was affected by visions of what she regarded as the caretakers of the galaxy and had seen paradise itself, is what she had to say on this. Efforts to locate her when she was missing resulted in the discovery of the now extinct Guardian race. After she returned into the public spotlight, she fled to Alliance Space and began a career promoting peace and understanding, harking back to the events that she claimed to have experienced while she was in cryostasis in her escape pod. Gan Romero, an otherwise ordinary citizen of the Vega system who worked on the local port, servicing vessels in the station's hangar. Gan Romero had a wife and 3 children and had no criminal record. The honest, blue-collar kind of guy. On April 25th, 3305, he stole a Diamondback Explorer and fled into the black. A subsequent investigation questioned his family and friends, and it was revealed that he had been suffering from visions and vivid dreams, and that he had mentioned multiple times to his people that he needed to steal a vessel in order to travel to an unknown, distant location. Gan Romero's residence was searched, and some kind of journal was found that contained the deleted remnants of some kind of dream journal. Investigation efforts reveal segments of his deleted logs, which shed a light on Gan Romero's mindset shortly before he went missing. Gan Romero repeatedly mentioned that in his dreams he saw an area of space, not black, but radiant, glowing like heaven. He also claimed in his dreams he was being called by voices that didn't come from anything with a body. Medical experts later discredited his visions and their potential connection to visions that Jasmina Halsey had apparently experienced, claiming that Gan Romero had all the hallmarks of some kind of dissociative disorder. Visions and apparitions within dreams are all common themes with these kinds of mysteries within our universe. There is also mention of some kind of device that was encountered at Site 94. This device did not appear to be human nor Thargoid, and it was apparently reacting to Thargoid vessels that had shown up in that system. For a more comprehensive explanation of this site, please follow the link above to my video on this. As to my thoughts on salvation, I believe that the device he had used was some kind of Guardian device, and that the medical experimentation he had inflicted on Sho at Oaken Point was done with the assistance of Guardian technology. In Ramtar's logs, it is revealed that the monolith network was accessed via cybernetic connections into a subject's brain, a method similar to the experimentation he had done on his research with Guardian technology. As we know, the Thargoids react violently to Guardian technology, and the mainstream explanation of this is because the Guardians defeated them millions of years ago. That this is some kind of genetic memory from that period, and that the Thargoids have some kind of fear or hatred of the Guardian race. Although I do not believe that this information is false, I do believe that there is something more to this, that we are choosing to either dismiss sightings of another race within our cosmos other than the Thargoids, or that there is some kind of information that we have either not yet revealed or that is being purposely suppressed. What is known as the Guardian Bubble is permit locked either by the Pilots Federation or by some other organisation that we are not aware of. Gan Romero mentioned of an area of space not black but radiant, glowing like heaven. He also claimed in his dreams that he was being called by voices that didn't come from anything with a body. Although that we know that this area of space that the Guardian race existed in is an otherwise unremarkable location, we do not know what the space that has been locked off from the public looks like. Is it a similar place, dark and uniform, or is something there that we have not yet seen? Human science fiction of old dreamed of what we could see all those years ago in far-flung alien shores or areas of space that at the time seemed unusual, that would gaze on its fluctuating light, as though like a candle blowing in a breeze. They dreamed of why this light dimmed and brightened. As humans do, their minds filled the gap, and they dreamed of what they called Dyson spheres existing at those locations. As usual on the outside, yet radiant, glowing like heaven from within. Was Gan Romero explaining what we would know as Raxxla? Jasmina Halsey claims that she saw the universe and our galaxy within it, as I'd never seen it before, and I felt the presence of the real caretakers of the galaxy, the paradox of their existence, tiny yet gargantuan, fleeting yet eternal. They spoke to me as I drifted in the void. It was amazing. So, Jasmina was shown something that was tiny yet gargantuan, fleeting yet eternal. It is worth mentioning that a microchip is a small object, and although I doubt that the Guardians made computing devices in the way that humanity does, they had computers that were insanely powerful, and that they had ways of entering their own and one another's dreams through a device they call the Monolith Network. To polish this off, I believe that there is some kind of Guardian artifact, device, or synthetic creature out there that we have not yet seen. I believe that Caleb Wycherley has entered the Monolith Network, which to this day exists somewhere behind a permit lock or some kind of interstellar wireless network. The device is such as the one Wycherley had used, acting as some kind of entry node. I also believe that the Guardian AI would not approve of humanity's actions. Let us not forget that the construct murdered its own parents. It saw no alternative, moving in what it regarded as an act of preservation, the preservation of the stars themselves. And this construct wept like tears from the heavens. It rained down lightning and fury, and in a flash, my people ceased to have a seat upon the arms of the Milky Way. Do you think that the Guardian construct would even think twice if it regarded us as a threat to our surroundings? A threat to the very stars, the trees, the rivers, the mountains themselves? Do you think that a creature that is known to be 4 million years wise would struggle to overcome the efforts of mankind as they lashed out like petulant children? What do you think? Drop a comment below. Thank you for the watch. Please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you like my videos and want to contribute to its continual growth, then please consider buying me a coffee, link below. If you want some members only videos, including an extended version of this video you're watching right now, please consider taking a look at my membership options. Until next time, Commander 07.
Don't be a mother, pray for your brothers, hiding in all their shame. Apart all the pieces, never let them go. Hide it in your soul.